Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. This is a little bittersweet, but I thought I would just let my community know that I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break from Age of Mythology. Usually, I'm not one to make a video about it or really even tell anyone. I'll just go and do it, and I'll be back when the time is right. But this time is a little different. I feel like it's kind of insincere for me to just disappear out of nowhere. A lot of the times in the past when I did that, it was different where didn't have a community around me. I have like a YouTube channel, a Discord channel. There's people that watch me and whatnot. So um, I think it's better if I just actually mention why I'm doing it and if I'm going to be returning and whatnot. So just as a TLDR, if you don't want to stick around, is I'm just going to take a break. I'll be back probably when the DLC hits. Maybe I'll try it and see if I enjoy it. But overall, the main reason why I'm doing this is because I just don't enjoy the game like I used to. And there's probably no one that's played more Age of Mythology than me. I've been playing since I was a little kid. It's been more than half my life that I've been playing Age of Mythology, right? And you know, I just don't feel the magic. Pardon the pun, but I don't feel the magic anymore in the game itself. Whereas in the past, I used to love this game. I used to think about it all the time. Now I can't even watch it, and it's been like this honestly since for the longest time. And I kept in my mind, I kept thinking things were going to get better. I kept on making videos where I showcase certain things I can improve in the game, design wise, balance wise, etc. But it doesn't feel like things are going really in the way that I had hoped. And maybe this is a me thing. Maybe it's not really a game thing. I'm sure most of you guys still enjoy it at this point. But and I do enjoy it as well when I play. It's not like I don't. I mean, it's not like I'm hating myself when I'm playing Age of Mythology. But I realize for myself that there's actually better alternatives to the game in of itself at the moment. Um, so once again, I just want to make it clear, why am I doing this? Why am I making this video? People would be like, if you're gonna take a break, just go and take a break. You don't need to announce it to the world, and I fully understand that. But the reason I'm doing it is because you guys help me build this community, this channel, whatnot, right? I have 13,000 subscribers, and it's thanks to all of you guys that are watching, and I have like even now when I barely stream, I still have 50 or 60 subs, and people have been just supporting me nonstop throughout the last year. So that's the reason why I'm doing this video. It's for you guys. If you guys are subbed to my Twitch, or if you're on my Patreon or YouTube member or whatever, I suggest you don't waste your money at this point. It's time to, because I don't think I'm going to be pushing out any AOM content. So, you know, the 44 subs or whatever that have subbed to me, maybe it's time that you unsub. Like, just being real out there. I mean, I don't want to. I don't want people supporting me if I'm not even playing the game itself. So, big shout out first of all. This is what I just don't want to forget this. I want to give a shout out to Jar 1971. It's been so many times over the last year that I log into my creator dashboard and I just see that he's giving out 10 community subs. He's done this over and over for me for the last year, and I'm just very grateful. So big shout out to Jar 1971. Thank you for all your support over the last year. You've been very kind to me, and usually when someone's kind to me, I want to repay it double. But in this particular case, I don't think there's a way that I could. But I just want to thank you. I also want to thank. There's one person every time I post a video. For the last year, he's just been posting for the algo. So, you know, this is my way of this is me giving back in a way of just saying thank you. This honestly, that's all I could really do at this point, which is Poke Malik. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. You've just been posting, for the algo all the time for me. So I do appreciate that. And all the kindness that people have shown me, I appreciate all of that. So yeah, I'm not dying right now or anything like that. It's not my deathbed. I'm just basically saying thank you to the people that have supported me over the last year. Um, Now I want to talk a little bit about one of the things that I don't like about AOM. Um, the patches. Every single time there has been a patch over the last, however, for the last year or so. Every time there's a patch, I'm happy, I'm excited to play, but then I play it and I realize, damn, there's a bug. There's something wrong with it, or there's something that's not in the game patch notes that just gets released into the game, right? Um, and this has happened all the time. So it's a little bit frustrating. Like, I can give you guys an example, right? I don't know if this is fixed yet. Maybe it is, but let me just try it really quickly. You see, like every time I tried to, when I was trying to play Oranos, there's this bug where I can't even queue, because everyone has different hotkeys. They're kind of customized to the way you play. The way I have my hotkey is I press Control B to get to on a barracks to select it, and then when I want to add another barracks, I press Shift B. But now I can't add the barracks because I keep getting this upgrade, Halo of the Sun, that gets added every time. So it's very hard for me to actually select all my barracks and put them under a control group. And this is just one example. There's numerous examples of stuff like this, right? And you can probably say like, what's the big deal? Just control B all of them. But these tiny things add up and they become a nuisance for me, right? And then I spend, like, I remember I try to fix this. I'm like, maybe it's just a me thing, right? I try to fix this. I unqueue all. I get rid of all of the pre-queues and all that stuff for this upgrade itself, and it won't fix it. I uninstall my game. I get rid of the cloud for your hotkeys and stuff. I make my hotkeys from scratch. Still happens. Then I go and reach out to some of the devs and I ask, like, why is this happening? But he's not sure. I asked my community. I asked other people. Nobody knows. And then, like, I feel like I wasted, like, I don't know, like an hour of my life just trying to figure out how to fix this bug, right? Um, and as we get older, like, I'm sure a lot of you can relate, we don't have the time that we used to have when we were younger, right? We Every hour, every minute is more precious to us now than it used to be. So, like, to have to spend 1 hour of your free time trying to figure out how to fix a bug is like is just unreasonable at this stage of our lives, right? Maybe if I was a kid that was in, like, going to school or whatever, I had a lot of free time. Like, half the time I did nothing, just scroll on TikTok or whatever, just scroll on YouTube. But now, when time is so precious, you don't want to waste your time with bugs, right? And it's not like this is a one-time occurrence. It's been like this for since the release of the game, and I'm not sure why the whoever's in charge of these patches can't figure out what's happening. Why is this going on? Like, we can kind of let it go like one or two times, right? But when it continuously happens over and over again, that's when people get frustrated and people start leaving the game. And I think that one of the biggest issues with AOM is not balance or design. It's just the numerous amount of bugs that the game was introduced to, and the fact that no patch is getting it right. Like, I remember there's this one guy who doesn't play the game because the way the sound has been remanufactured in one of the patches, it has just made it so difficult for him to play, right? So everyone has their little reasons, but these small things will add up. And then another thing is, like, this is something that someone's telling me. I didn't actually check the notes myself, but every time there's a patch, there's things that get added that are not even supposed to, that don't even make the patch notes. So this Migdo stronghold, as far as I'm aware, somebody told me this, is it's not in the patch notes, but it got 100 gold cost increase. Just right off the bat, this thing has been, you put something into the game, but you don't put it in the patch notes, and then people have to go and figure it all out one by one manually, right? So it's just an inconvenience, right? And maybe we have been kind of spoiled where, like, we get patches so often, they're quick, and then things are not as smooth because things got rushed out. I can understand, right? But these type of things shouldn't be happening. There should be some sort of quality control, right? Whoever is setting the tone at the top, whoever's in charge of AOM and this, I don't want to get too mean on stream. This is not supposed to be like a whining video, but just in general, a lot of us, are getting tired of these type of changes, right? Um, and yeah, that was bugs, right? The bug side of things, and then the balance, right? I just feel like, in my personal opinion, like, balance dictates the focus of the game more than the actual skill of the individual, right? If you get a bad matchup, you're pretty much lost right there and then, which is kind of unfortunate, right? Normally, I like adversity. I like to play against in a difficult scenario and try to overcome the difficulties and improve, right? But there's only so much that you can do. Like if every matchup, or if you get bad matchups that are 80-20, 70-30, no amount of skill is going to be able to compensate for that. So there's too much imbalance in the game, right? Um, and it's been, once again, this has been like that since day one, right? It's just things are not getting fixed in the way that they should, right? And then on top of that, you have a really long. This is very. I don't know what to say here, but like I feel like the game design has been going in the right direction, right? So I'm just gonna. This is my notes right here. So I feel like the game design has been going in the right direction. Stronger buildings and whatnot, right? But every time that the design, and I can understand this, once the design changes, a lot of people are going to be up in arms because the people playing the game right now enjoy the game as it is, right? So most people are not going to want design changes at this late into the game, because the people that are left playing the game are the ones that like it for what it is. So this is the issue, because I think the current design is a little bit lacking, right? Um, and this could just be something that's happening at my elo, my level. Um, but yeah, maybe the casual player base is nothing. Don't see this, but the game is not very dynamic, right? You come with a script, and if the script is well, you'll win the game usually. But if the script is inadequate, you can't really just win by improvising and being strategical. I personally like real time strategy, right? This is why I play most of the games that I play. I think AOM is lacking the real in the strategy department. It's more just strategy, right? I like when you have a situation in front of you that you have to adapt to, they have to you, but it's not really the case in AOM. Which brings me to my other point. I feel like there's a very, very strong lobbyist community in AOM, and there's lobbyist communities in every game. Like I talked to AOE 4 players, they want certain things in their game, and you know that's going to be there in every game. But the biggest difference in AOM is the top players and the casuals are very disconnected, right? The things that the top players want, the casuals don't really like. But with things that the casuals like, the top players don't really like. I would say the majority of casuals, and when I'm talking about casuals, I'm not talking about people that are, lower than maybe 1200 elo or something like that. Really, like the 80% of the player base. They want stronger buildings and fortifications and whatnot, and the top players don't really want that, right? Um, there's a couple people that I've spoken to that said that towers were fine in its current state, which was kind of mind-boggling for me to even hear about, right? So like if you guys watch my last video that I posted on towers, right? Let me show you guys. I posted this video on towers. Are towers useless, right? And I've said this so many times too. But like to 22 seconds to kill a hoplite that's not even moving is not good. It's not good like it's just bad, right? Why would you ever make this building? And if this hoplite was moving back and forth, God forbid, this tower would never be able to would kill the unit itself. And then when I mentioned this to some top players, they're like, "Yeah, it's fine. You shouldn't be defending with buildings anyways. You should be defending with units." And it's just mind-boggling to me to hear that, because even for a top player to say something like that is just silly, because every single building, as little as it might be, should have a use case, right? There was almost no use cases for the tower pre balance patches, right? Now there's a ton of use cases for it, um, but you can kind of see, like, this is not the point of this video. I'm kind of getting a little bit heated, and that's another problem with me, is I do get heated. I do like to say what's on my mind. I have lost a lot of friends for it, but I feel like you should always be true to who you are, and that is me. Like if I disagree with somebody, it doesn't matter if it's my best friend, my mom, my dad, whoever it might be. I'm gonna tell my point of view, and my point of view is that some of these players are just delusional, and that's what it is. I think, right? They're trying to balance the game around their playstyle rather than what's actually fun, right? Maybe what's their idea of fun is that is their idea of fun. What matches their playstyle, right? But this is not who the developers should be looking at. The developers should just ignore these people altogether, right? It's irrelevant what they say most of the time. The developers should actually go and do some market research, figure out what these players want instead of what these players want, and just focus on them almost entirely, right? Now, there's a disconnect here, but it doesn't mean that both sides can get what they want as well, right? I feel like there is a middle ground that would someday be approached where both the casuals and the top players will be happy. I don't think it's might be very close actually. I think it's getting closer and closer to it right now, but it's not quite where it needs to be at the moment. So that is one of the other things, right? I feel like the game is still under construction, as sad as it might sound. Like the game was released in a state where things were very, let's say, very, it was very badly designed at the beginning of the game, and it was not entirely evident at the beginning because nobody was nobody really knew the meta at the time, except for like maybe a select few that were grinding pre-launch or whatever, right? But most people didn't know the meta. Once the meta got understood and then once the meta developed, people realized, okay, this game is just full of like, imbalances and there's too much. It's pretty much just a textbook game where you abuse whatever is in your strength bucket and then you just win the game, right? That was how the game was launched. Now the game has slowly been toning down all of those imbalances, and we're getting to a point where it's actually making sense to, play a little bit more of a strategical game. I just don't think it's there at the moment. So I don't want to go too long on this. I can talk forever. I know I have I have a big mouth sometimes, so it is what it is. What's my future look like? Well, right now I am playing AoE 4, right? I at first I was watching the finals, right, for some tournaments because a lot of the times my friends play in the tournaments and I just like watching when I'm connected to a person. I want to watch their games and stuff like that, right? I was watching and I really enjoyed watching for the usually I usually for AOM, I didn't really enjoy watching people's streams and watching people play. I just realized I didn't enjoy it that much as I used to. But in AoE 4, I can sit back and I can watch an entire game. And now this is not a marketing campaign for AoE 4. I'm not trying to put down AOM as a game itself. Everyone's going to have a game that they, a hobby, a game, an interest that they enjoy, and I think I've all the stuff that I have been talking about in my videos about game design. I think AoE 4 is actually being able to recreate that. So I played quite a few games, more games than I've ever like. I've never played so many games in the last week of AOM, but I played a ton of games in AoE 4, and I've just been enjoying every moment of it. So I've been playing this right now. It could just be that I mean, I'm enjoying it temporarily for now, and like 2 weeks later, I just get bored of it and just move on to something else. That could hold all that could happen. I don't know, right? But yeah, right now I'm gonna play AoE 4. I think when the DLC comes back, I'm gonna try it out again. If it's not what I thought it was gonna be, I mean this is my last chance with AOM. I think this has to really hit a home run, right? Because I've been trying. I just realized something just recently, right? This is kind of like I'm just a little bit I'm blabbering a little bit, but these are my thoughts that I have within me, right? So I realized one thing recently is I've been trying to love AOM because I've been growing up with AOM. It means a lot to me. You know, its success means a lot to me because I just love the game. For so many years I've played this game, and a lot of my life has been playing AOM. So I've tried to love this game, but when I've actually played it so much, I realize I just don't love it as much as I thought I did. Let's put it that way, right? Because the moment I tried AoE 4, the moment I watched AoE 4, I think instantly there was immediate love for it, right? I didn't have to like fake it. I just liked the game. I enjoyed the way it was being played. There's dynamic. You're actually thinking on the spot for a lot of scenarios, right? Whereas with AOM, it's not catering to the way that I enjoy playing an RTS game, right? It's a different type of genre. It feels like it doesn't feel like RTS. So once again, I know this is a little bit. This is not going to win me any fans either. I know. I'm speaking to my AOM group, and I'm telling my group that I mean I like another game. It's like cheating on your spouse or something, right? But I just being honest with you guys, this is how I feel at the moment, right? I just think this is the absolute last chance AOM has for any type of success. If this doesn't hit it out the park, I think it's over for AOM, right? And here's another issue, right? I I kid you not. I would come home from work, right? I get home around 6ish, right? I do my chores or whatever, and then I can sit on the computer at 8ish. So between 8 to 10:30 or whatever, I'm usually looking for games. I've searched for like almost 45 minutes for one game, right? And that wasn't even a good game. Like I can literally not find a game at the time I want to play. This is probably the biggest, one of the biggest reasons too. Like it's so hard for me to find a game on AOM. And as I've said at the beginning of the video, like time is of the essence at the moment, right? It's not like we're young anymore. We only have so many few. We only have so much free time in the day. So the fact that I can't find a game when I want to is one of the biggest reasons why I'm not really playing AOM anymore. Um, and the last thing is, this is probably the least important. There's like no more tourneys, right? And I don't care about the money aspect for tournaments anymore. I used to, right? But it's irrelevant at this point. Not because I'm rich, but because the amount of time I spend playing in tournaments, preparing and whatnot, the money is immaterial at that point because I could be working part time and making more money than just playing in a tournament. I play in tournaments because of the competitive aspect of it. It's fun for me, right? At I'm a competitive player at the end of the day, and the fact that like you can kind of see there's no more tournaments happening for like 3 4 months, like it's kind of the game is kind of being, what's the word? It's being abandoned even by the devs, right? All the money is going into AoE 2 and AoE 4, right? So like AOM is kind of just it's hasn't been as successful as I think that they initially thought it was going to be. And now it's in the process of dying. The last chance it has is the DLC. So this is not, I thought it was going to be a 5 minute video, but this is like a 20 minute video at this point. I just want to say, like, this was the whole point of this video, right? Um, that's that was the whole point of it. I just want to thank the AOM community. You allowed me to build this YouTube channel. I've had a lot of fun talking to you guys. I've had a lot of fun with the game at some points, but I think it's time for me to, you know, close the chapter on this game and move on with something that I want to spend my time with, right? We only have so much time left in our lives until, you know, our time is done, right? So I would urge everyone to go and explore things that make you happy, things that you actually enjoy. And unfortunately, AOM is not one of them at the moment for me anymore. So thank you all. Thank you, you know, Jar. I think you have been my biggest supporter for the last year or so. Seidel, you know, I hope you can get to the top 20. You know, I'll be very happy to see you in the top 20 ladder at some point. I think you have tremendous potential, and I wish you all the best, right? And everyone else who's supported me over the years. I mean, if I were to go on, it would take another 20 minutes, but thank you all. You know, I don't think there's anything left that I need to say, but I'll be reading the comments if you guys have anything you guys want to add. Um, you know, this might not be it forever. I might be back, you know, in the DLC time, but this is it for now, right? And I don't know how long I'm going to be out for. Also, thank you, Poke Malik, right? I've almost every video for the algo. I appreciate that. All right, guys. Thank you very much for everything, and I will hopefully see you during the DLCs. But if not, you know, have a good time, everyone, and enjoy your games.